How do I get my game to completion? I feel you could share a lot of encouraging stories about struggling through setbacks, as well as triumphing in the end. It can seem daunting, the prospect of ever finishing a single idea.
I'm going to assume that you are asking about finishing commercial projects, getting a completed game, book, or whatever out the door, rather than finishing a campaign or something that you're running. Though there are similarities, I suppose. Yeah, things have been difficult whenever I have, certainly whenever I've tried to do crowdfunded projects. Something always seems to go wrong. But I have, in the end, finished both of them, even if it is years late, in some cases, or a year late, in the case of Whitechester. It helps to have a plan. The way I write is I always create a kind of skeleton of the work before I ever start writing. So I break it down by, title, section, subsection, as much as possible, so that I have the entire thing plotted out, but I've also broken it down into chunks. So I might set out one day to complete a section, like maybe, I don't know, fantasy races for this particular game. So I might have that as a section, with each subsection for elf, dwarf, scrotling, whatever. And that has the dual effect of giving you a plan and also breaking everything down into bite-sized chunks, which are more manageable and seem less daunting. And because you've got the whole plan, you don't need to go through from start to finish writing everything in order and struggling through things that you're just not in the mood for that day. You can skip ahead and you can write something else. Yeah, and it's easy to revise. You can add more sections. It's not an issue. So proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Would be one aspect of it. Stubbornness helps a great deal as well. My crowdfunded projects have tended to go wrong more than projects that I haven't crowdfunded. But the reason that I haven't given up or moved on to something else when doing the crowdfunding projects is because that also creates a huge sense of responsibility and obligation to other people that you need to complete that project. And that can be a huge motivator, even if it's also ruinously stressful. And people are... No, that's not fair. Most people are quite patient and tolerant, but there's always a few that are complete dicks about it. And, I was getting messages once Whitechester was overdue, despite the fact that I'd nearly died. I've been in a hospital quite a bit. From people saying, where's my game, where's my book, why aren't you working on this in the intensive care unit? Sort of, I didn't actually go there, but you get the point. So that's useful. Weirdly, I would say having other projects on the go is also useful, for a similar reason to that you can skip ahead if you have a plan. If you're just not in the mood for something that day, and you're struggling and it's taking you an hour to write 2 sentences, then having another project that you can go away and work on that day you're more interested in, especially shorter projects, that can give you something else that you can complete, which is motivating, and something to give you a break from the main project, which is enormously helpful. You shift your brain to a different gear, work on something else, then come back, and even though you're still writing, you can still feel refreshed and have a renewed capability to get things done. So that helps. So planning, stubbornness, obligation, and other things to do, which can seem like procrastination, but it doesn't have to be. Yeah, those are my key tips for getting shit done.